explaining someone's past would be tapping into their present vibration and tuning into their past vibration. In order to be able to see the future, you would have to be able to do the same thing based off their present patterns that you see. Sorry, I'm driving. For being able to see the past your own life, like your family and stuff like that, you'd have to have something. That's how people use their trinkets or something that was really close to that person that could have held some of their memory, especially like a jewel, because minerals are the closest you can get to the earth, and that's why people have amulets and jewels and stuff like that. I mean, it never made sense to me before, but it all makes complete sense now. I mean, I haven't read anything about any of these things lately for the last week or so. I haven't studied any of my old stuff, done any of my old stuff. I've just been listening to just music and sounds or recording. Like, I've just been recording and talking the whole time. Like, I just have this endless supply of information coming out of my head. It's amazing. And I don't mean to keep saying amazing. Like I said, I don't want to have too many times where I say the same words. But I've been more in control of myself. I still feel it all. And I'm just more in control of myself. And I see how everybody else is still God. And how everything else is still God. It's not going away. I see it. Like, I look at people and I feel God. I feel frequencies from people. We all do from time to time. But now I do it all the time. Because I tuned in my mind. I never would have thought that spirituality, religion, like the whole, the cloak of... Religion is like a formulated cloak of spirituality. That's what I would call it. A formulated cloak of spirituality. Which is okay because it still usually has some kind of spiritual sense. And even the ones that are seancing and having, demon worship and shit like that, I know it seems wrong in our life. And I myself would not do it. But I've taken part of it in my mind, but not just in my mind. In the frequency I've tapped in has been part of every frequency. Like, if you got to the main song, that's why music has been a huge part of my life. Music. That's why Cindy was a huge part of my life, because she got me really focusing on eights and seeing numbers of eights and threes and threes and eights and really paying attention to numbers and like, what does this mean? And what does this mean? We kept saying, what does this mean? What does this mean? And it's so amazing what it really meant. But it was for me to tune into the God frequency. Isn't that crazy that I left science for myself throughout my whole life to find the God frequency? And that's why it felt so amazing when I, got in the bread route. It led me to something. It gave me that extra little bit of time. It gave me that extra little bit of time that I needed to meditate. Like, I didn't have time, but I had the layover in the morning. I'd do a delivery at 3 o'clock, and it would take me till about 3:40, and then I'd go drop something off at the college and be done at like 4:15, and I have 45 minutes to just sit there and clear my mind. And then I would try to like speed up and get things done faster, try to get done with that at 2 o'clock and get to Walmart at 2:30 so I could meditate longer. And I'd meditate, and I was getting so into meditating. I really didn't understand why I was getting so into meditating, honestly. But then after a period of time, like after now, I understand it. Like, I felt so good about meditating, it seemed so right. And then as I was meditating and my mind started thinking of all these different things, I started studying those different things and like listening to these books and reading those things and studying those books and wanting to be successful at the same time. In my human consciousness, I was studying, expanding my mind power, because I want to make money and get rich, and make money and get rich, supposedly, be wealthy, feel happy about, secure my kids, live with me, have nice stuff, which isn't wrong to have when you have love in your heart and you're doing it for the right reasons. And I would be doing it for the right reasons. It's another reason I tuned into the frequency. I mean, I can tell you all these reasons, but everyone has their own reasons. But you got to see which ones are the negative ones that cause you to do the bad things, and you got to reverse them. You got to reverse your frequency, and you can. Your brain can reverse your own frequency, and you can tune into the God frequency. But it takes a while, because you have to get rid of all of those things. You have to get rid of not liking, you don't have to start dressing like a hippie, but you have to stop hating hippies. You don't have to start like, being a gangster or dressing like a mobster, or loving, like acting like you. I mean, I guess you can't. It doesn't act like, it doesn't mean you have to interact with every person of every race, of every kind, but you just be accepting of them and don't label them. And if they act the way you don't like, then don't label them. And eventually, if we keep teaching this, even those people that are acting the way you don't like will act in a way that they like. so that they're harmonious with themselves. And when they're harmonious with themselves, they'll be harmonious with you, around you, whether they're different people from different walks of life or not. And that will happen. I just explained it to you again, how we can do it. You reverse your brain frequency so that you can get rid of your negative vibes. And once you get rid of your negative vibes, you start building on your positive ones. Once the negative ones show up again, you say no, 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 and you tune that frequency back again. And that's all focus. Focus is like tuning your frequency. That's all it is. And when you learn how to do that, and you have love in your heart, and you can be forgiving, and you can be accepting, you do that. You know why Cindy crushed me so much? It's because I couldn't accept myself for hurting somebody that I loved so much. But then I still didn't think it was wrong to have sex with other people. And that was wrong, I thought. In the human sense, I guess it is. But to me, it's never been. I've always said these same things, just at different times in my life. When I was a kid, when I was a teen, when I was a young adult, and now that I'm 38. And 38 has always been my number. This is the year it all happened. And it happened on a day where all the numbers added up to 8 or 3. And it happened on days where, everything pointed in the right direction. It doesn't make sense to me, I know, and it's amazing. It's so cool. I love it. But it's intense. And I know people won't get it and they'll think I'm just putting it together to be clever, but I'm not. This has been my whole life. It's been my whole life adding up to this day. Well, to that day. And since that day forth, I'm like creating my new life together with God, with what I call God. And if people started believing what I'm saying, which I want them to, I not only want them to, the God inside me needs them to, because I do feel the pain of other people. But it's different than you think. I'm not like, ooh, I got punched in the gut. It's like the sadness drapes over my other part of my mind, the part of my mind that I tapped into, the frequency. Like when you open your mind and say you get another extra percentage of your whatever, like only 40 or 50% of that brain is maintaining your brain. Like if you can fathom all the things your brain is possible of, I believe I'm at 40, 50% of my brain. I believe after this week, I'm probably at 50% of my brain. At least 51. After, if you've heard my other talks about the 51, 49% policy, I made that up off the top of my head talking to God. I wasn't talking to anyone else. My mom walked up while I was doing it, and I was like, Mom, you can witness the oath that I'm making between me and God. Do you think a person with their mom right there would do that? No, I wouldn't. I swear to you, I would not have done that in front of my mom if I didn't believe myself. And I believe myself because I know myself. And I know I can believe in myself, and I always have. And this is what I'm saying. Whether you believe it or not, Dane Alexander is God. It's funny. It's funny to say, but whether you believe it or not, I'm God. And I'm just trying to go about my normal everyday life now. It's so weird. I'm tuned into the God frequency. I can see all the past. And it's like, after a week goes by, I gotta be like, oh, whoopee-doo. And then I'm like, well, now I'm letting go of my whole purpose. And that's why people are feeling like, what's my life purpose? I feel like I have this purpose, but I don't know what it is. And I don't know what it is. We just want to figure out what we are. And I figured it out. And now I know my life purpose is telling people what we are because I figured it out. Whether they're racist or whether they're religious or whether they're, hateful towards midgets or judging towards anything. And when I say the word midgets, it's just a midget. It's just a word. I love this dude. Through my work helped me too. Because I love this Amish dude. I love this midget dude. And the midget dude happens to also be Amish. Along with the other Amish guy who looks like Abe Lincoln, who made me start going into Abe Lincoln and studying presidents and listening, well, not really studying presidents, but listening to stuff about all these famous and wealthy people and all that kind of stuff. And those things all put me in literally like a compass. My life turned into my whole pieces of my life seem to have added up as like a compass pointing me towards my destination. And now I'm here and I love it. And I want to share with other people. And then on days where I just grip my humanity and stay where everybody else is, being sad and lonely and sad and need to be in a relationship, but my relationship is horrible and need to pay my bills, but I don't have money. If I start getting back to that thought, I get crushed because then I do physically feel the world's pain. When I get down now, I feel the world's pain and I feel like I'm going to die. When I start feeling sad, I think I'm going to die. And I can't change that now. So I have to be happy. And I have to be accepting of everything. And that's okay because I always have been. But at those moments where it shows like, even though I have always been, I've gotten off my frequency. And on those times in your life where you feel great one moment and then you feel crappy the next, you just got off your frequency. Whether it's in the sign of a cold or the sign of a mood or it's a sign of something going on around you that's noisy and bothering you, it's all those things are just a sign of your frequency. And if you don't get that, the noise around you could be going on. You'd be like, what doesn't bother me? But then another day you'd be like, God, that's annoying. You know what I mean? And sometimes you say, God, that's annoying. And you know who you're saying, God, that's annoying to? Yourself. That's why you say, God, I can't believe this. You're saying that to yourself. I know that because I did that one day so that I told everybody, when you go to say something that you're angry about, say God first because you're talking to yourself. I remember saying that to somebody. I don't know who, and I don't know who I was when I said it. And see, I'm Dan, and then all of a sudden I just said that as if I was God, but because I am. And I don't know how to stop it, but I don't want to. I just don't want to look crazy. So anyway, I'm not going to get on a crazy ramble because I can go on and on forever. As soon as I start letting it out that I'm God, then I start going off. And it's not because I'm performing. It's because I'm emoting. I'm letting out my emotions as the person I am with what I have inside me. And I always knew I had this fire inside me all along, and I always thought that I had this greater purpose than everyone else, but now I realize that I don't. We all have the same great purpose to realize that we're God. I just happen to tune into it first and understand it to the point where I can explain everything since the beginning of time. And just because the people believe in a God in a certain way in a religion, they're not going to be able to unlimit their mind all the way to the ideas of accepting a goblin eating them. You know what I mean? How are you going to get somebody to unlimit their mind when they praise holy, 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 and then go out and say, I can't believe someone would kill somebody. They deserve to go to jail and rot. That person is such a hypocrite. Everything you do after you step out of the church, if you're not happy and harmonious, even if it seems fake, that's what fake it till you make it meant. Fake it till you make it to being happy. Fake it till you make it to being rich if that's what makes you happy. Fake it till you make it to being a superstar if that's what makes you happy. Because happy is harmonious in a different way. Harmonious and happy together is like happy in a super peaceful way. I mean, like I said, I'll give you different definitions to words using the words we have, but that's what it means. It's a difference between happy and harmonious. And like when you say divine, wow, that feeling of divinity is great, man. I don't know, and people who have been to church and feel like they've been blessed, it's because you are blessed. Everyone is blessed. You didn't have to go to church to get blessed. I can prove it to you because I feel blessed, and I'm talking about it 10 days after a meditation in a Walmart parking lot about getting abundance and wealth. I had nothing to do with spirits, nothing to do with God, nothing to do with any thought like that. But I immediately tuned into the God frequency, and it took me 4 or 5 days to figure out that's what it was, because why would I all of a sudden feel like I was the thing that created everything? I mean, I had to figure that out too. I'm like, and I did it all on tape. It wasn't something that I made up. It was something that scared the shit out of me the whole time I did it. And it still scares the shit out of me because I don't think people are still going to believe me. And but I'm going on about it every day. It's my life now. Now it's my life. So how do I act like a bread man? So that's what I have to do. I just looked at the clock. I have to act like a bread man back in human mode because that's just how I lose space and time. I can literally get lost in space and time. Hours will fly by. And I'll just like pick up my phone, start recording, and I start talking as God. Boom. And next thing I know, it's an hour later. I'm like, well, that was 55 minutes. It seemed like 2. And then next thing you know, now another hour flies by. And I don't even know what I'm saying until I listen to it again. Sometimes I stutter when I start like butting in. Like sometimes I hear myself in the back of my head. I know that sounds weird, but that's what it is. Anyone who's done a drug has at least felt that. Anyone who's thought to themselves in their head to the point where they heard a voice has done that. But mine relay communication between each other. It's awesome, but it's weird sometimes. Anyway, guys, I really do have to go to work, and I don't mean to cut it off like that. It's just I have to act like a human. I mean, we are human, but I have to act like I'm nothing but a human being doing these tasks